Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. Founders love talking strategy, but strategy doesn't break companies. People do. In a year where AI is accelerating everything and teams are burning out faster than products can ship, today's guest has become the guy companies call when the wheels are coming off. Military veteran, entrepreneur who scaled and sold during the Great Recession and now building one of the hottest AI-driven EOS platforms in the market. My guest today is Chris Hallberg. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me on, Rocco.
So you scaled and exited in the toughest economy in decades. In your opinion, what fails first when growth hits? Is it systems or is it people?
Well, it's people, because the right people can figure out the systems. Having great systems run by the wrong people, won't work. So I'm going to go with right people every time, because essentially, Rocco, all a business is a curation, a collection of the right people in the right seats. And if you think about every layer in an organization, if you're the CEO, your job is to hire a number two. And the number two job is to sit on the leadership team and make sure we have the right people on that team. And then those VPs need to have directors, 3 or 4 of them, that are the best possible 3 or 4 directors. And then those directors each need to have 4 or 5 managers that are the best of the best. And if that happens, we've got a chance. But of course, we know organizations have strong departments with strong leaders and other departments that can't get there. And it all comes back to, if we're hanging on to the wrong people for more than a quarter or two, that at scale is the peanut butter in the gears that allows you not to be like a well-oiled machine. It's lumpy, it's sticky, it doesn't work.
I love it. Talk about VCs, Campbell Soup. We know what happened there. I think that's a brilliant point into what happens when culture and leadership have blind spots as to what's going on in their company, and touches on what actually, like what you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can identify as being a world-class company. You could even put that on your website, but it doesn't make it true. I would suggest a workplace engagement survey through a business journal or someplace where you can't just write a check and get a piece of crystal for the waiting room, but an actual 94% engagement. And this is an anonymous survey. If your employees don't love everything about the company, they're not going to tell the business journals. Like, if you have a problem with the quality of the coffee, that's going to show up on this report. So that's my advice. In the work that we do with my clients in my coaching practice, we apply for awards and we win those quite frequently. I have teams that have won them 8, 9, 10 years in a row. And there's a waiting list to work at those companies because you have to clear out all the wrong people that would torpedo you on the survey. So if all you have left is people that are wonderful and love you, that's how you win.
It's funny because there was an article about 2 weeks ago where NFL owners wanted to do away with that questionnaire that the players fill in about what, that anonymous thing about how is the work environment. And I can't remember who it is, but like a couple of years ago, the Washington Commanders, I almost said the R word, the Washington Commanders got like Fs all across the board, and people went like, whoa, hold on, what the hell is going on? So those type of things are important.
Yeah, I mean, the results might be uncomfortable to deal with, but now we're dealing with reality versus the fake version. So back to hey, we're this, we operate this way. Like, no, I've seen companies that operate that way, and you most of it definitely don't. So you can only assume so much before people know you're full of shit. And then once they understand that, then everything else you say, even the true things, become full of shit. So this is about having an identity that matches. The inside and the outside are the same versus like what you want it to be versus what it actually is. And to do that, right, do you have a business operating system? Is everyone 100% opted into what we've created, or 100% opted out because it doesn't work for them? Or right? If we have a hell yeah, let's do it, and a hell no circle right next to it, the middle circle in the Venn diagram that intersects them is just hell with flames on it. So like, hell yeah, we should do it. Hell no, we should do that. Most organizations have many more things in the middle circle, and that's why you're not able to get there. So the clarity of hell yeah, we'll do this. Hell no, we won't. Anything short of that, you're just in hell. And my job as a coach is to push everything to the two outside circles. And once we achieve that, that's when a company can be 94% engaged, twice the EBITDA, waiting list to work there, whatever you want to do. So that's what it looks like. It takes a couple of years to get it done, and there's obviously a proven process to get it done. I'm an EOS implementer. I've been coaching EOS for almost 12 years. So being a coach prior to the tool set, a range of results. When you have the 6 key components and you are super strong in all those, you're solving the problems at the root causation, not the symptomatic level that it shows up.
What are the 6 components?
The first is the vision component, get the leadership team, the management team, and then the team. What I'm saying, 100% opt in or opt out. Second key component is the people component, putting the right people in the right seats. That's a term from Jim Collins' Good to Great from 20, 30 years ago. The right people share your core values. They're culturally wonderful fits. They care about what you care about in a work environment, in a team environment. The right seats, here comes an acronym. GWC, get it, want it, have the capacity. You have to be the right people in the right seat. Or you could be the right person in the wrong seat. The next most common one would be the wrong person in the right seat, the brilliant jerk. And then the last one is the wrong person in the wrong seat. They're fairly easy to spot. Third key component, Rocco, would be the data component. How do we know we got the right people in the right seats? You're hitting your number. We pay you X amount of dollars for what? When you hit that, you can ride into the weekend knowing that you're going to be welcome back on Monday. And then we give people a measurable. The fourth key component, the issues component. It's just an issue. Issues aren't just problems. They can be opportunities, things we need to discuss. Long-term issues are issues that we cannot solve in our present state, but we weigh and measure them, and we knock out some supportive issues so we can tackle the big issue next quarter or the quarter after. Fifth key component, the process component, and that's creating the 80% that gives you the 20% that gives you the 80%. Check lines, outlets, software-based rules, AI, agents, things that happen on time, on target every time. And then the sixth and final key component is the traction component. The other side of vision is traction. Vision without traction, as we like to joke inside the EOS community, is hallucination. So rather than hallucinating, why don't we just say this is what we want, get everyone to go there, and then we create a 90-day world, because humans get frayed after about 90 days. We have to pick them up, pat them on the back, kick them in the butt, whatever they got going directionally, and then we create rocks. Rocks are those big priorities, strategic initiatives, most often from the late Dr. Stephen Covey, that give us a new capacity, new capability to be another company. So how do we change the wheels on the moving bus? We operate with scorecards. We live our core values. We follow process, and we work on rocks on the side. So we're not just scaling the exact same business. We're adding new process, new locations, new products, while we operate the existing business without disrupting it. So I just gave you a real quick pass around the 6 key components. Yes. And to the degree that your team is 80% strong and all 6 at the same time, mean you have a business that could win an award like that. And until then, you'll be frustrated because parts of the business will be excellent and other parts will be decent and other parts will be subpar. Just like a chain, your company's only as strong as the weakest part of it. Just like your culture is determined by the worst behavior that you're willing to tolerate. Yeah. All of these things are true.
Talked about moving people and into where you want them to go. Let's talk tech a bit. Instagram said this week that starting in 2026, Jan, all workers must return to office, right? So what does a genuinely high-performing team look like in 2026? Is Instagram right? Does it need to be fully on-site? Is there still scope for remote or hybrid? Or what are we looking at?
Yeah, I think that's a decision based on the culture of each company. Some businesses thrive in a remote environment, and some excel in an in-person environment. So if a company like Instagram, who you'd think as a tech company, very progressive, a bunch of 20-somethings running around, if the data shows that we're paying these massive salaries and people have 2 or 3 tech jobs, they're in, Bali in the background virtually, perhaps for an Instagram, Facebook, Meta level salaries, which are immense, that there's a high expectation. And perhaps when people are left to their own devices from thousands of miles away, perhaps people's self-regulation skills aren't what they used to be a generation or two ago. So I imagine there's going to be some fallout, but the juice will be worth the squeeze. And perhaps even a smaller, more committed team would outclass a large, bloated remote team who's not executing well. So I imagine, I wasn't in the boardroom for that decision, but if I was, I'd imagine they looked at the data. This is what, if we keep it this way, this is what we get. And this is what happens if we rip the Band-Aid off all 14 hairs at once. And this is on the other side. Let me give a quick example, Rocco.
Sure.
If you've ever driven by your favorite McDonald's and then one day there is a demolition crew knocking your McDonald's down to rubble, and 9 months later, there'll be a new McDonald's with 3 drive-thrus instead of 1 drive-thru. So that owner knows they're not going to sell a single cheeseburger or fry for 9 months. But when they come back, their ability to sell 300% more cheeseburgers for the rest of the time makes worth making no cheeseburgers, no money. So it's the same thing. As a founder, you have to look at the long game and then you have to navigate the short game. If you're not tracking to an azimuth, a place you want to go, it's very difficult to go through the pain and suffering if you know something beautiful isn't on the other side. So that's why you have to have a long-term, midterm, and a short-term plan, and they have to be relevant and they have to know and meet each other, and you have to suss out the inaccuracies or inefficiencies between those things. And that's when we get into one voice, one vision. This is where we're at in 10 years. This is where we're at in 3 years. This is where we're at in 1 year. Everyone sign all the way up for this mission or go work somewhere else. Now, some people are like, I'm special. I don't have to come into the office. Well, great. You can be a problem child at somebody else's company. The people that are going to come into the office, because that's how we play the game, they're going to have more opportunity because some of the egos.
Right? You're free to leave, basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, no one's got a gun to your head, and it's an all volunteer army. My point is, as I understand it, and I don't understand a lot, that's a pretty good job to have working for Meta for $275,000 a year. So if you got to drag your ass into the office with all the other, overpaid geniuses, well, the rest of us in the world have some larger things to, you know what I mean? Some bigger issues in our day to day than that. Right. So I understand that, they're going to have some people quit. And I'd say, if I was Mark Zuckerberg, I'd be like, that's a good thing. Back in the GE days, Jack Welch used to pick up the bottom 10% of GE and slice it away. And there were all kinds of companies waiting for that because even the rejects were considered top 10% performers at the companies that would catch them. So there's Jack Welch and there's, hey guys, you actually have to come to work if we're going to give you $300,000. And believe it or not, that workforce is pushing back on that. And I think that's kind of crazy, but they'll figure that out when maybe they don't get rehired at $300,000 6 months later, and they'll probably accept a job for $225 or $189, and it'll be in the office 5 days a week, and they'll gladly come there. So hopefully they don't have to learn that lesson the hard way. But at the end of the day, all employees serve at the pleasure of the organization. That's the whole point of being on a team, is the team comes before each of us individually. That is considered great team behavior. When, are you kidding me? My friend works from home and they don't have to come in. Their company says that. I don't want to, I'm sorry, you've lost your connected tissue to this particular team if you're now comparing what we do to what other people do. If you like what the other people do, go work for them. See where I'm going with it? Like that is not a healthy employee behavior. So I appreciate that everyone got, the whole Corona thing and I coached full day EOS sessions here in this virtual studio.
Yes.
And I never thought I'd be able to do all day leadership team coaching doing EOS online. But when the government said we couldn't meet, well, we had to adapt. So now I have virtual only clients, and I don't like to get on airplanes. They don't like to get on airplanes. Why don't we all get our own monitor, headphone, and microphone, and delegate your work, and we can have discussions and not have to deal with all the travel. So like there's times for virtual, but if I'm doing an annual session and we're going to start talking about team health, staying overnight and having a team dinner and breaking bread and having an activity after and looking people in their eyes and being together, like virtual annual sessions where we do team health are half as good as the ones that when we're together. So like there's some things we can do virtually and there's some things we just have to do in person. And, it's up to the company to figure out what's best for everybody, not what's best for you or you or you. And that's why, they're going to lose some people, but they're also going to get some people that don't have that attitude that are happy to work for Meta and come into an office. And quite frankly, that's who actually deserves that job, not the other one.
Do you think, talk about AI, do you think we're moving into smaller teams with something like AI co-pilots or AI agents? Is that the future of work?
Yes, it is. I don't think AI is going to replace all the humans, not for a while yet, right? But who knows the way things are going. But I can tell you that humans that leverage AI are definitely replacing humans that are resisting AI. So two observations.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Two observations, Rocco. AI in the year 2026 still lacks discernment and relationship building skills. So as long as you're in a job that needs human discernment and the ability to build a relationship with other humans, you're going to be fine. But you're going to be an AI assisted person, or you'll be replaced by one that is. So like that is what I'm seeing in the last year or so in the marketplace.
So how does AI actually change that leadership execution using something like EOS platform?
Yeah, so one of my three businesses is called Go Expand, and that's EOS Go Expand.
Yes.
And it's an agentic AI agent, the operating system tools, and 4 or 5 people apps all in one login. So what happens is the managers don't always see that someone didn't do something, but the software never takes a day off. So it points out to the manager that the task is late. It points out that the review is not complete. It points out things. Then it's up to the manager to take action. But at least the app serves the right things to do in front of them versus hoping that people notice these things because they're usually overworked and doing too many things and aren't clear. So like the answer is you take an operating system like EOS, which is beautiful, and then you create an agentic AI playbooks where anyone at the company versus disturbing their teammates or waiting for 3 days and 4 back and forths, we can just query the company brain what the answer is. And if the company updates a process, they simply pull the old one out, put the new one in. The old answer isn't commercially available a second after the update. So that's what we're seeing is the humans are using the technology to not bother other humans to get answers that are factual quickly. And when we're not waiting on other people and they are not disturbing us with dumb questions all day, it turns out, Rocco, it's like giving people an extra day of the week. So yes, if you want to be 20% more productive without adding headcount, then you're going to bring assistance with AI, not replacement, acceleration.
It reminds me of like everyone has like a Janice or has had maybe still a Janice in accounting who knows everything, and it's always like, and she just gets bothered the whole time. Like, ask Janice, and Janice gets so fed up and tired that she eventually just burns out and says, "Okay, I've had enough."
I would also mention that the Janets of the world equal a single point of success, which has an equal opposite single point of failure. So if she, ever got hit by a bus, one of those hybrid ones, they're quiet downtown, they'll get you. That company would be in big trouble because the tribal knowledge, just got thumped by a large city bus. So that's why
by eco-friendly.
Yeah, well, they're quiet. We've got them in Denver and they'll definitely run you over. So my point is she needs to get her knowledge into the LLM so people can ask the Janet LLM the question and they'll get the same answer, but it's a much better experience for her and it's a much better experience because then we can skip the whole, hey, how's the kids? What's going on with the hobbies? Because quite frankly, a lot of those conversations are just polite conversations and they're human and they're important, but they're not always necessary. If you've ever found yourself being polite for 5 minutes, how many times does that happen a year? It could be 2 or 3 weeks of your career.
I don't like chit chat, but that's just me. Last question before I let you leave. Out of all the companies that you're working with, maybe, or seeing out there, what's some of the most interesting and exciting things that are happening or being built at the moment, like going into next year?
Wow, I've got a bunch of really exciting companies doing big things. I have a genomics company who has a different way to test for infectious diseases. And they have some technology that is quite possibly game-changing and providing more information, early recognition of cancer cells. So, that one comes to mind. Theagen is their name, and they are really in the public health space, and now they're going to the private health space to hospitals. So they've worked in infectious diseases and real big with the CDC and all that stuff. And now they're having, for-profit type stuff out in the hospital networks, and they're being received, quite well because their technology is so groundbreaking. So there's a great example with AI enhanced technology and finding things and testing things. And they just move very quickly because they're real big in tech. They're very savvy and they see what this could be.
What differentiates that founder being successful versus maybe someone that's not? If you can just sort of not high level, just low level.
Yeah. So he's not just keeping track. Joel is not just keeping track with money. He's keeping track with impact. So it's the impact that they're excited about. And the more impact they have, the money will follow the impact. So they really don't want to focus on the money. They're well-funded, privately held. They're just trying to save lives and, make things better. And the benefit of having a tool that gets to conclusions faster and identifies things earlier, that is worth quite a bit more than they're charging. So once they show people what it can do, the sale happens themselves. So they're not focused on revenue, they're focused on impact, and then being able to scale the impact are the discussions we're having now. But it's a fantastic organization and everyone should go check them out and introduce them to any hospital groups or anybody that knows anybody in healthcare, because that you'd be doing them a favor to get this technology before everybody else gets it as well.
Yeah, we'll give them a shout out as well. Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to go and connect with you personally or find out about Go Expand or any of your other businesses, where can they find you and where can they connect?
Just Chris Hallberg, LinkedIn. Connect with me, and awesome. I share all my stuff there, and would love to connect with your listeners.
That's easy enough. We'll leave all the links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. And to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. And we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Bigger stay. I see it clear. You hurting bad. Don't deserve what you have. He talks slick, tell you lies, hold that pain deep inside. You say you're fine with the cheating, you say okay with him leaving. All these fights, all this pain, tell me now what you gain. He put you in a cage, you were born to fly.
brain, are you living or surviving? Lock you up in this cage. You were born to fly. Spread your wings, don't wait. There's more to life. You were born to fly. Spread your wings, don't wings. There's more to life.